This is the Jeff Oravits Show.
So I went out today, and I've been telling you, I've been stocking up on things that I think are, I don't know, just real things that people need, right, Olivia? Olivia's here with
bagels.
me. Oh, yeah, last hour was bagels.
No, I saw the pictures.
They don't keep very long,
and I was like, ooh, there are bagels upstairs.
Yeah, 99 cents. Yeah, if you missed last hour,
now, so.
we're talking about Bidenomics and Bagelnomics. That's a tough word.
Bagelnomics.
I don't know if I don't know if that one's going to spread its wings all over the place. And I had a report on how hard of a time people are having in the Biden economy, and it's not a good sign. So I've been telling people, hey, I want to stock up on real things because I don't trust that the inflation numbers are actually correct. I don't trust what's going on with our economy, and also I'm concerned. And for those watching the video, this is a little lighter.
You don't destroy the studio.
Whack some things here. I'm holding it up here. This is my my new chainsaw, and Steel is not a sponsor of the program. They should be. Right, for all the stuff that I own of theirs, right?
Yeah, your men's collection.
Slide this back over. I was going to fire it up here in the studio. Maybe if I had bought the electric one, the battery one, I could have done that. But no, I'm a wood cutting guy, and I think more and more people should do that. So I bought this saw today in Flagstaff. Went right in the store. There was tons of gas-powered Steel and other brand chainsaws. I got this for about $200. It's the model MS-170. Actually, it's $220. I've spent a little more for a couple other features, but this model 170 is like $200, right? Gas powered, 16-inch bar. For those of you who know what that is, basically the chain is 16 inches long, so you can cut a decent size log. I have a bigger one. I have a Farm Boss has a 20-inch or a 22-inch chain or a bar, and that thing's heavy. You've lifted it.
Oh, yeah. You always make me carry it through the forest, and I'm, like, dying.
A couple hours of cutting, and you're like, oh, man. But I bought this more of a delimber and for smaller diameter stuff. And I'm there looking at the battery-powered stuff. Ooh, it's expensive. It's a lot.
Yeah,
it's double.
Because you have to buy the battery. The extra battery for when the battery runs out, because it has like just a tiny bit of time in it. And then the charger, so you can charge the battery.
Battery's not bad.
And the actual
chainsaw. I have a Steel battery-powered weed whacker. You've used that one before. It has a big battery pack. It is a cheaper battery, though. It's $100. You can buy one that's like $300. The equivalent of this chainsaw, though, this gas chainsaw for the Steel that has a 16-inch bar like this one, that's battery is double. It's $420. So double the price, but that does not include the battery. The battery, and I have this open here on Steel's website, the battery is $300. Where did it go? It's $300.
And the saw was $400?
Yeah. So
dang.
So you're at you're at $700. I don't think that includes the charger. So what's the charger cost? Where's the charger at? Charger's another $100. No, 179, 180. So what are we up to? 7, 8, 9. Let's call it $900. $900. So do you include in this comparison? Should I be including the battery or not? I think I have to because you can't run it without the battery.
But also in comparison, you have to include the gas.
Yeah, okay.
For the other one, the cost for that, because that'll.
Okay, so I buy a 1 gallon government gas can that sucks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are
and then you have to buy the
$25
stuff so that you can fix it.
Yeah. Okay, so
the nozzle or the.
Let's just say you have a
cone.
Okay, let's say you have a gas can. Yeah, let's say you have a gas can. I got to get a gallon of gas in there, which is $4, and I got to buy mix. It's like $5. Let's call it $6. It's $10 for me to get a gallon of gas, and I'm going to fill up this chainsaw about 8 times, 8 to probably 10, probably more like 10 times with $10 of liquid of petroleum.
Yeah.
Okay, this is for the gas saw. So the battery one, which looks like a good saw, I wouldn't mind owning it, but I just can't swallow $700, or what did I say? $900 with the battery and the charger. Okay. So, and this is just an equivalent for this saw. This is a smaller 16-inch. This would be like your starter saw kind of thing. $200 gas, 16-inch bar, so you can cut decent sized stuff. You ain't going out cutting big big stuff with this, but you'll get by. You'll get some firewood for your...
what you could cut with this
Wait,
is those tiny little twigs that they're like, they allow you on the permit of like 8 inches and like 5 feet tall or whatever.
Look, I'm sorry. I need to start over. It's biomass. It's a biomass saw. Remember, it's not firewood anymore. It's biomass. So yeah, it's just, we got to call this stuff the right stuff, Olivia.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Biomass. Anyway,
whatever they decide.
No, so I'm just, that's why I've told you that my goal is to stock up on more of this stuff. And
because it breaks so quick.
Well, not only that, but I think that these gas engines, these small engines, in a few years, you might have a hard time finding them. So I think there's a lot of value right there. As the disclaimer says on the podcast, though, it's very small print at the bottom. I don't give any financial advice. So if you buy 83 chainsaws and lose your rear end on it, that's your own fault. But anyway, so $900 versus $200. And let's be honest here. If you're going in the woods and you're cutting, I've been told these batteries last about 40 minutes or so. I guess it depends on how an aggressive of a cutter you are and how much wood you're cutting, right? You go out and cut firewood, you want to get let's say even a half cord of wood, you're going to need a second battery. I mean, you can't go out to the forest without extra fuel, right? So you need a second battery. No way. You need a second battery at another $379. So you're looking at $9, $10, $11, probably $1,200 to get this saw, and compared to $200. Doesn't make sense to me.
It never does.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
It's like, what's the benefit here?
Yeah, what's the benefit? So it's maybe a tool you have if you have money to burn at this point. And now keep in mind, this chainsaw, and this would be true for all kinds of different power equipment with small engines, gas engines versus battery powered. This chainsaw is not anywhere near as capable as I didn't even see a model that's capable as my Farm Boss, which is it's either a 20 inch or 22 inch bar that's on that thing. I can't remember. This thing will not cut as much, not even close. So the battery powered one wouldn't be an equivalent. You can't even get that. So in California, they have passed a law that says you cannot, they're not going to be able to sell, the small engines coming up in 2024. That's next year. 2024, they're getting rid of that, and they're going to 100% zero emission for off-road vehicles and equipment. That's next year. I don't know if that's actually going to happen. Yeah, so I don't know how what's going to happen to
I can't
people cutting
watch
wood.
It all fall apart.
Yeah, it's insanity. So anyway, just some equivalents there. I just wanted to tell you, since I'm in the market for this stuff, and I'm going to be buying more and more stuff like this and extra stuff, because I think that the government, unless we change things with Bidenomics and the craziness out there, I think that this kind of stuff is going to become harder and harder to get, or they're going to destroy it. Like they're just trying to destroy the dishwasher, the oven range.
Exactly.
So it's like, I'm buying my stuff now.
And they already are destroying it.
I'm buying my stuff now. Talkwithjeff@iCloud.com. Love to hear from you. That's talkwithjeff@iCloud.com. And you can go subscribe to the podcast too, and you'll see a video of the chainsaw or a picture. Nice picture. We should do a demo for people. Okay, let's do comments. This one I think hit on yesterday's show and had some follow-up. What do you got?
Yeah, it's Karl in Cottonwood.
Okay.
I enjoy your show and listened on the 12th, yesterday. The topic was driving on I-17 and an encounter with a driver in the left lane who would not move to the right lane. Your guest stated ARS, Arizona Revised Statutes, states a driver can and should use their horn and flashlights, high beams, to signal the other driver so they can move out of the way. I've been an Arizona peace officer for more than 20 years and am well versed with the ARS, especially Title 28, which is the transportation section. Mm-hmm. The statute your guest quoted is correct.
Okay. Well, thank you, Karl, and thanks for doing the job that you do. We need more peace officers, and we need talk about a vital service out there, right? And in driving around and even being out there, Olivia, on the forest, remember a couple weeks ago we were out there cutting firewood. And people are going crazy with the UTVs. Obviously, there's not enough people out there to cover the areas who are
if there
law
was
enforcement.
Someone there,
yeah,
they wouldn't have been doing that.
Law enforcement, you're talking, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, so yesterday Mark Howell was on the program, and he was talking about how he came up behind someone on I-17 that was doing 60 miles an hour that was clearly distracted by their cell phone, which is, you can't do. That's a illegal issue right there, doinking on your phone while you're driving down the freeway in the left lane.
Wow. What
at
a
60
great
miles an
idea.
hour.
Oh my gosh.
Now, the speed limit is 75 in most of those places on I-17.
Yeah,
So
it's dangerous to go too fast. It's also dangerous to go
yeah,
way
yeah,
too
you
slow.
go so slow, and all of a sudden,
Especially in the left
in
lane.
the left lane, there wasn't a lot of traffic. So Mark came up behind this person, was flashing his high beams, ding, 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 and beeping, right? And I said, "Well, Mark, it sounds like a aggressive drive. It sounds like somebody's gonna go nuts."
Just a little bit. I don't think I'd want Mark to get mad at me on the road.
So guy Mark, I can't remember if he said he passed him on the right lane finally. The guy, or maybe the guy finally moved over or something, and he flipped him the bird. You know, the middle finger.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. Okay, I don't know with your generation if you know what the bird is. Is that? Do you guys all know what that is?
It's called context clues too, though.
Context clues. See, you are smarter than me when I was your age, and probably even at this point, because I wouldn't have known what. That's the first time I've ever heard of context clues. That's a thing, huh?
Seriously? Oh my god.
Anyway, so Mark gets flipped off, right? And I was like, Mark, is this really a law? I mean, this sounds like you're gonna get in trouble, like for like stalking or something, or that's like aggressive driving, right? No, it is. And thank you to Karl, was it?
Yeah, Karl.
Thank you for Karl. Here it is. It's ARS 28723, overtaking a vehicle on the left. The following rules govern the overtaking and passing of vehicles proceeding in the same direction. The driver of a vehicle overtaking another vehicle proceeding in the same direction shall pass to the left of the vehicle at a safe distance and shall not again drive to the right side of the roadway until safely clear of the overtaken vehicle. Except as blah, 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 bunch of stuff. Except when overtaken and passing on the right is permitted, the driver of an overtaken vehicle shall give way to the right in favor of overtaken vehicle on audible signal or blinking of headlamps. So it says right there. So you come at nighttime and shall not increase the speed. So headlights at nighttime and shall not increase the speed of the overtaken vehicle until completely passed by the overtaken vehicle.
I mean, I still wouldn't want Mark to get mad at me, but he was right.
So no, you're right. So there is a law on that. I remember Sheriff Mark Lamb was pulling people over in Pinal County. He was going around and he made videos. Drivers. He was deliberately pulling people over who were driving in those left lanes. So I guess Mark knows what he's talking about, and so does Karl. So I appreciate that. All right. Talk with Jeff at iCloud.com. Keep those comments coming. That's Talk with Jeff at iCloud.com. All right, welcome back. Talk with Jeff at iCloud.com, and please subscribe to the podcast or follow. Got the video already up on the Begelomics of how inflation is just crushing everyone in America right now. So check that out on Rumble. Look up Jeff Orvitz and follow that. We also have a new giveaway. If we want to help you out.
Yeah, it's the September giveaway. Super easy to enter.
Almost 2 weeks late, but hey.
Yeah.
We just drew the winner 2 days ago from August.
So
yeah, we're there. We're there.
You can still enter. Go to talkwithjeff.com. Right at the top, it's giveaway. Click to enter in big letters. So click on that. It's really easy. You just fill out just name and email and stuff like that. And leave us some kind of comment that we can read. Not just like, oh, dude. Hi. Hi. This is my entry. No, let us know something. Share something. Share something about your life, a life story, something going on in your community, questions, comments, things like that. And what do we got? Once we draw it, the winner will get $50 at Sportsman's Bar and Grill. Nice. Food helps with inflation. And more food. $50 at Namarco's Pizza. More food. $85 at Timberline Farms and Training. It's an intro to handguns course. Any kind of gun training is good. You could actually go out and get food. Yeah, you can, right? You can get food. Yeah. Go and train. There you go. And then you can get more food. Yeah. And, to pay for the gas, a $50 cash debit card courtesy of Gettle's High Desert Mechanical. Okay, that's a good one this month. We'll have to. It is. I think we'll add to that too, because I've got a couple other sponsors that have emailed me that have been lazy and haven't emailed them back that said they have some gifts as well. So we'll update it as we can. Go to probably more to come. Yeah, talkwithjeff.com right on the top there. You'll see it, and I hope you'll sign up, and you can do that once per week. So you got a couple weeks there before we'll draw.
supposedly
we won't
sometime
be
in
so late
October.
next month.
Yeah, I don't know. You never know. Okay, you got another comment.
Yeah,
This one came from YouTube, I believe.
From Brandon. Zach is a true American farmer. He's a pro's pro when it comes to farming and one hell of a nice guy. What a great interview. Thanks for the insight and the challenges the modern day farmer has to deal with.
Yeah, and you're referring to the video that's still up at talkwithjeff.com. It's still on YouTube. We're not going to make it disappear. It's only 1 or 2 down on YouTube and Rumble. Zach Hauser, Farmer, something like that it's titled. And we talk about the challenges when it comes to farming, water rights. This was a really good interview, and I hope you'll check it out. And Zach is my go-to guy because I am an amateur hobby farmer that needs a lot of help, right, Olivia? I mean, we're doing pretty good.
We're better this year, I will say.
We're pretty far.
Our first bell peppers.
Yeah, finally, like bell peppers.
Which I am so happy about. I love bell peppers.
Yeah, finally bell peppers that look like bell peppers. You know,
it's that, like safe to
like the, like normally they just look like these tiny little things and they're like half eaten and stuff. This is like, looks like a bell pepper you would professionally produce. So we're pretty proud of that. But water rights is a big issue. And I do see that I got an email from the town of Camp Verde because Zach brought up the fact that SRP has put a claim since, I believe off the top of my head, since like 1913, like claiming most of the surface water that runs through most of the state. I mean, it just came in and it's like, it's our water. And I was like, okay, wow. They own all the water, huh? And you know where it all goes. It's all going down to Phoenix, down to Maricopa County. And he said there's litigation going on right now. He also mentioned that, hey, they could do something down the road, like try to meter people's wells. They've been talking about this for years. So I'm trying to learn more about that because that concerns me, and especially our listeners in especially the Verde Valley, probably even Presco area, Chino area, should be paying attention to this because there is legal wranglings and things happening behind the scenes right now where they could send you a notice and say, hey, we want to meter your well that maybe you had for decades.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, isn't it crazy? So anyway.
Well, I know we're always disappointed when they divert the water in the creek.
Yeah, and Zach actually controls that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But like, I'm saying for water everywhere. It's just like that. How we're like, no
they
more water in the creek anymore. So sad.
I smell a lot of problems with this one. But anyway, the town of Camp Verde sent me that they're having a water rights and adjudication meeting hosted by, and I think there's going to be some people from SRP there talking about what's going on here. It's Thursday, September 21st from 6 to 7. Looks like right there on Main Street in Camp Verde. I'm not sure if that's at the city hall there, town hall or whatever. I will put a link in the podcast that I got where you can register. I assume you just got to register to go to this meeting. I may actually go to this one because I want to learn about this. That's really concerning though, that they got this claim on all this water and people, there must be thousands and thousands of homes in the Verde Valley area that rely on those wells and rely on that water.
Ours included.
Oh yeah. And so it's like Zach was telling me that one solution you might have is to get away from the subsurface water. Like if your well's 30 feet down, you might have to drill a well down. I don't know where the next water table is.
And
then
they can't have any of it.
Well, yeah, because then it's the water down in the aquifer.
So it's not the surface.
Yeah, exactly. It's because they consider the water that's even running underneath, like subsurface, right there, near the top. That's the same water. So that's something I'm going to be looking into too. Is can you drill wells deeper? What is a well down in Verde Valley to that next aquifer or whatever? Is it 300 feet? Is it 5? Is it like Flagstaff where it's like 15? I know people that have 1,500 foot wells in Flagstaff, 1,500, 2,000 feet. In some areas, really deep wells. Because think about it, it's all cinders.
You don't want to fall down that.
Yeah, well, they're small holes, but yeah. Yeah, it's not
I know, but when I think of a well, I think of people falling down in them.
It's not like the old well and like Timmy's in the well kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. All right, send me an email. Love to hear from you. Talk with Jeff at iCloud.com. And don't forget about going to the website and signing up for that giveaway. We don't have a free well or anything. It'll be the next thing. We do have, I think we're going to be talking with Glenn Least when we come get a market update. So a lot of information we got to cover there. So stick around for that. And one more time, love hearing from you. Talk with Jeff at iCloud.com.
This is the Jeff Oravits Show.
All right, Glenn Least joins me fresh off the road from Oregon?
Yes,
Oregon or Oregon?
And Oregon. two places.
Oregon. There's a whole controversy on that, you know. Was it weird? Isn't there a slogan like in Portland, like keep it weird or stay weird or rob me or no laws or something like that?
So we actually traveled to visit my wife's brother, and he lives in Bend, Oregon, the Bend, Redmond area, which is interesting because there's different parts of Oregon that are very, you know, different from the Portland area.
Oh yeah.
Portland is one particular, you know, set of policies and, you know, one set of ideologies, and you go to the rest of the state and it's, you know, more hardworking people, more reasonableness. And when we were driving through Portland, Oregon, it's funny because we were driving from Oregon up to Seattle to do another thing, and I was on the freeway and I was telling my kids, hey, this city, you know, you can just take stuff. And she's like, what? I'm like, yeah, they made it so you can, you know, take stuff under $1,000 or whatever the limit is. And my daughters are, you know, 7 and almost 9, and they're like, that doesn't seem like that makes very much sense. Like how do businesses stay in business? And I go, yeah, it's a great question. How do they?
Yeah.
But no, it's interesting because, the rest of the state has a very different vibe from even the Portland area. But I didn't actually stop in Portland. I just passed through.
Probably best.
I
think I stopped there a few years back. I think they have a cool fisherman's wharf and stuff. It's what a beautiful coast.
Yeah.
And in western Oregon, which I think is more conservative leaning, we actually did like some boat tours. I can't remember where that was at.
Oh, it's beautiful out there.
Like jet boating up this river and stuff like that. You know, it's
lots
just
of water.
Yeah, really cool and beautiful. Remember Goonies? That was like somewhere up there, you know, that scenery and all that. So, well, parts of Oregon want to secede from, and parts of Washington want to secede from the state and go over to Idaho because they have no say, you know?
Yeah, I don't blame them. I think Northern California has the same issue with, you know, the metro areas of like San Francisco. San Francisco being very different from the Napa Valley wine country, northern, you know, California, very different mindset, people. You're going from really, really dense city areas to rural areas. And so, it's happening in a lot of places. And, you know, I wonder if it's going to happen more because, last hour, Angela and I were talking about some of the numbers. I think it was the Bureau of Labor Statistics or one of the government agencies, I can't remember, that the income has actually gone down. It's going down under Bidenomics, adjusted for inflation and everything. Yeah.
And you know it, people are having a hard time. 60+% living paycheck to paycheck. And we were going over what it costs to get a house now. So asset capital things have inflated tremendously because people need to put money places. We're comparing our first house to what it would cost to get one now. Yeah. How much percentage of your income it takes per month to get into that house. And it's like 3 times what it was when we got our first house. It's crazy. So you've got some market numbers. I mean, what's going on? Because you got this guy going around fumbling around the world preaching Bidenomics. I'm like, what do
you got to whisper it too. It's working.
It's working. It's like if you do more than a whisper, it really disappears, right?
Yeah.
What do you got? What's going on? And is there?
I think the easiest statistic we measure is boots on the ground. What it's like for you and I just to make ends meet, and even more so those that are just getting started or are having young families. It's just even more challenging. And I was on the phone talking with my little brother today, who's about 8 years younger than I am, you know, wanting to get into a home. And he was voicing a lot of his frustrations with it's just so expensive to get into a home, even in Flagstaff, where this has been home for the last 20 plus years for me and my family. The prospect of actually getting a home that's affordable, that's reasonable in Flagstaff, maybe a manufactured house you're looking at in the $400,000 range. And when you look at the interest rates, that could be
Kelly Broads told me they popped 8% on the 30, just like last week.
I think I was running numbers. It's like if you did a $400,000 mortgage, put 5% down at 8% for a 30-year, your mortgage is going to be in the $2,000 range, maybe even as much as $2,500.
That's on a $400,000 home.
Yeah, $400,000.
So last hour, Angela and I gave an example. I won't go over all of it again. You can re-listen back to that podcast. But a 600, the median price home is like 700 or something. So we were figuring the home that we bought for, she said $90,000 in 1999 is now $600,000. We were paying $650 a month. Now with an 8% interest rate, the payment was, and I'm going to lose it here, $3,800 per month. And that's with putting 10% down.
It's putting 10% down.
And the median household income has now gone down under Bidenomics. Median income in America now is $74,000. So do that math. How do you there?
Yeah, and I think I was listening to some song, one of the bands I was listening to, and it said they had a lyric that said, it's much harder for us to make, you were able to just, the prior generations were able to just skate through because everything was so much easier. But now we're facing the same things, and it's much more challenging. And in fact, I had that same reality a couple years ago when I was looking to try and buy a house, and my mom was, said something to the fact, oh, can't you just find a house for like $250,000? We bought ours for $280,000, however many years ago. And that's just the reality. Is just, it's not there anymore. $600,000 house, $700,000, even like a starter needs a lot of work, fixer up house, maybe $400,000 if you're lucky. I don't even know in Flagstaff.
There'd be a bidding on that. You'd be lucky at 5 or 6, I think, to get what I call the junker that you're going to use elbow grease, sweat equity.
Yeah, sweat equity.
And you all about that, Glenn.
Yeah, I got a lot of sweat equity going on with one of my properties. But it does beg the question, what does that look like for the future generations if we continue this trend? And I don't think the trend is getting any better because we have a lot of compounding influences that are just, a lot of variables that are adding fuel to the fire, whether it be higher inflation, they keep printing more money. We've got large asset managers like BlackRock buying up large tracts of property and houses. And so then it becomes even harder because if you have less people controlling more of the market, they can determine prices and the cost of, homes go up. So there's all these compounding factors that I don't want to be pessimistic, but I definitely recognize the challenges of what we're facing
Glenn,
today.
it's a challenge, and it's also, I would put this out as a warning, because if it becomes too out of whack, too out of equilibrium as far as being able to buy these things and being able, the mass of people to be able to get by, that's led to very bad things in the past in civilizations.
French Revolution.
Yeah, exactly. Let them eat cake, or whatever the slogan was, and then off with their heads.
Yeah.
It can lead, if you, and the millennial generation, especially, is a big generation that's coming up. What are you, millennial?
Yeah, millennial.
We've gone over this before. I'm a Gen Xer. We're a little bit smaller generation. The boomers, which is a huge generation, is phasing out. I'm sorry, I don't mean it that way. I mean, my parents are boomers, right? But they're getting older.
Sure,
so their influence is waning. They're getting older, and they're going to start losing right now. And one of the things that came out in this Bureau of Labor Statistics report is that the least affected and impacted from this economic Bidenomics or whatever is the boomers, because they're very well established.
Yeah.
Your parents are a great example. They're like,
they're already,
it's $250.
Exactly.
Just get one. It's like they don't pay
further
attention
along.
to it though. They don't pay attention to it.
What about the people that have graduated college, maybe have some college debt, are looking to get married, start a family, and they're looking at their loan repayments versus the cost of living versus what the job pays versus what is the cost of, buying groceries, and it's becoming a harder and harder equation. Now, we still live in America, still a land of opportunity, but that opportunity is getting harder and harder to make it to get the American dream. And so I think what we'll see is, lower quality of life, unfortunately, is where you have people that are no longer maybe living on their own, but maybe having to have roommates when, maybe it's a family that has to have a roommate and they don't want to, but that's just the reality.
You're doing it,
Yeah, or they live together with multiple people and you have more roommates. And so
it's going to be different.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying, I think. And you're also going to have to make some tough decisions. Do you stay? Look, Flagstaff's discovered, and it is higher than most places in the state. That's the reality. But I know plenty of people who are down in Verde Valley who it's like, now stuff down here is 400, 500, things like that. Tucson, I was talking to my father-in-law over the weekend, and it's like, the houses are 400 or 500. So that's but you may have to make a tough decision and say, I'm leaving the state. I'm going to do what's best for my family. I got to get ahead.
When we went to Seattle, we were actually on Whidbey Island, and a beautiful island. It's amazing beachfront property, and we were going and looking at the housing prices, and I was shocked because I was this is cheaper than Flagstaff. I can afford
on an island
home here easier. And
Glenn could buy an island,
an island home, which was really kind of a sad, just a commentary on how expensive it is to live in Flagstaff is when you can go buy an island home for less. Just as nice of a home, if not nicer. You could buy a stick-built home, 2,300 square foot for like $400,000. Whereas Flagstaff, we're talking manufactured homes. So I do think people are going to have these very real decision making of do I still live in Arizona or do I have to move to
or other expensive
Kansas
places
or Minnesota? And we've actually had family friends that had lived in Flagstaff for a long time. This was home, but they were forced to leave. They had a good city paying job, but they just couldn't afford to be homeowners. And you can only rent for so long. You really, you need to own a home eventually. That's just,
One thing Kelly brought up the other day on the show was that the average age or something of people getting their first homes now 36. Think about that. I mean, I know you got in young, and
that's about me. Yeah.
Yeah. Was it about your?
Yeah,
was about that age?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's. Whereas Mark was with me, Mark Howlett, the other day, and we're close to the same age. He's a little older, but we're both Gen Xers, right? We were like in our very early 20s, and that was more common back then. It was like, get in as quick as possible. So changing times takes a lot of planning, though. It takes a lot more than it used to. There's no denying that. Things are absolutely changing. All right. Love your comments. Go ahead and get those in. Talk with Jeff at iCloud.com. That's talkwithjeff at iCloud.com. Appreciate everybody. What are you doing? What are you dealing with out there? Your situation. What are you seeing, especially with maybe your kids and your grandkids? Send us an email. Talkwithjeff at iCloud.com. All right, here with Glenn Least, and if you're watching video, yes, and if you weren't listening to me and Olivia in the beginning of this hour, that is a chainsaw. And if you're going to buy a home, you got to factor that into the cost as well.
You got to have tools, right?
Yeah, you got it. There's a lot of people. My neighbors, they know I have all the tools, so they're like, "Can you come cut this?" It's like, "Can you come do this?" And now we have that small tractor too, so we're the coolest house on the block, and we got a wood stove. So if it hits the fan, a biomass stove. It hits they're all in our house.
I think it's a sign of me getting older when I actually go to Home Depot and I'm excited. Like, okay, what kind of tools can I get? Like, what kind of projects can I do around the house? Right? Yeah,
I love it. I could own. It's weird. You could own all this stuff and you never have enough. I could have 10 of these chainsaws and weed whackers and. Yeah, nerd when it comes to that. Okay, well, what we got planned for you, and this will be on later on in the week plus podcasts. Glenn and I are going to spend some extra time after this, and we're going to go over AI.
Yeah.
That's a big one. That one, if you couple what you and I were just talking about, the problems people are having now and the younger generations coming up, and then you couple it with AI and the displacement of jobs, that could mean... Man, talk about changes.
Knock on wood. Hopefully the emergence of AI is a good thing. It makes our lives better, but there's also the argument to be made that it makes our lives harder, because it's, people get, they lose jobs or they're not able to find employment because AI has replaced them. And having high unemployment numbers for any nation is not good.
No.
It's very destructive and very
especially
toxic.
with youth.
You
have a young population that has high unemployment. So maybe we'll get a guaranteed minimum income as well.
Yeah, you have too many unemployed youth and you have a Clockwork Orange happening, right?
Yeah, oh man. What a movie. Talk about nightmares. We'll get into all of that. So I hope everybody will join us for that podcast and then the show that are later this week. But I hope all you have a good night. Send me an email, talkwithjeff at iCloud.com. And also I'd appreciate you signing up for the giveaway on the website. Have a good night. Take care. See you soon.